They're back, home sweet home in Toronto after a Western road swing. The Boston Bruins in town. They've been here longer than the Leafs have. Getting themselves comfortable. Vesitoskala ready to get back on track on home ice. Milan Lucic. We had a one-on-one today. He's pretty ready to keep the hot hand going and keeping it rough out there. Luke Schenn might have a thing or two to say about that. Welcome, everybody, to Molson Canadian Leaf Nation pregame at Leaf Nation HQ at the Air Canada Centre. I'm Jody Vance, along with our play-by-play man, Joe Bowen, who will be on Rogers Sportsnet tonight. Hockey analyst Mark Morrow and our senior reporter, Paul Henrik, down on the end. And lots to cover today, including this cover on the hockey news. It is all part of our headlines, brought to you by Ford, powered by you. Paul?
Well, we've got some interesting headlines here tonight, and we've already talked about the first one. Luke Schenn, he is indeed the cover boy. Ian White, he is white hot and running into hot goaltenders. The Leafs running into yet another hot goaltender here tonight. But how about the start of the season for 18-year-old Luke Schenn last month? Makes the National Hockey League's Toronto Maple Leafs this month, at the age of 19, he's on the cover of Hockey News. Now, what's next? An invitation to Hefner's mansion? If that's happening next month, we're invited as well.
Yes.
You guys go on ahead.
We'd have to help the young
He's not on the cover of Rolling Stone yet.
Not yet. Joe, you know what? These kids from Saskatchewan, extremely well-grounded, because this has not gotten into this guy's head yet. He's happy to be here and working hard to stay here.
You were from Saskatchewan. Wouldn't you be happy?
Right.
I guess he is. And you know what? We got a chance to really spend some time with his parents and his grandfather, George. Rita and Jeff have done an excellent job in raising their family, and not only Luke, but their younger brother. And also, it's only been 23 years ago when Les and Elma Clark sent their son to Toronto as the first pick overall. And here was another real grounded young man from Saskatchewan, and did an excellent job of coming to this city and not letting it take him by storm. Instead, he took it by storm. And I think Luke Schenn's done exactly the same thing. He's having a blast. I mean, that smile on his face on the front of that cover tells the whole story. Why wouldn't you have a blast? You're 19 years of age. You're a number one pick. You're playing in the hockey mecca of the world, and you're doing extremely well. God bless him, and his parents have done a great job of making sure the sombrero continues to fit the head.
Yeah, good one.
Still very much on. The key for any young defenseman, I would assume, Mark, is consistency from game to game, and it's a work in progress for young Luke Schenn.
And it's very impressive the way he's managed to do it. And when he's had the good, whether it's in the media and he's in the spotlight like he is, or it's his play on the ice, he doesn't let it go to his head like Joe talks about. But when he's had the bad, he doesn't let it affect him either. You could argue that his first game in Calgary in front of all kinds of family and friends, he didn't have his greatest game. That would affect a lot of players, being in front of all those people that you know and you love, and you go out and you might have felt like you disappointed them. Right off his shoulders, comes right back in Edmonton and Vancouver, has two outstanding games. It's like it never happened.
If you pick up a copy of the Hockey News, you'll notice that he's holding up his jersey. There is not an ounce of pretense on this cover, and there's not an ounce of pretense in Luke Schenn as he walks through these hallowed halls here as a part of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He really does have this all in perspective. It's quite something.
Well, the theme right now is Western Canadian kids, so let's continue that, and we'll go to Swift Current, Saskatchewan, where Ian White played his junior hockey. This guy scored 56 goals as a defenseman in his last two seasons of junior. He is on a roll coming out of training camp. Didn't play the first 11 games, but certainly has played very well in his last 7. He had a chance to chat with our Andy this morning.
Ian, in the 7 games that you've played, you picked up points in 6 of them. What is feeling good about your game right now?
Just being around the guys and being on the ice, being a part of it. It's awful being apart from the press box. So you want to contribute and you want to help each one of these guys win hockey games.
Is that what you've always been like when you take an experience like this? It actually motivates you and pushes you to do better, make the best of your situation?
Well, it has to. If you got a pulse, you always want to be better, and you always want to be a part of something, not left out. So, the first month was really difficult, and it's funny how quick things turn around, but they have for the better. So hopefully they just keep getting better.
Have you surprised yourself with how well you've played the forward position?
I didn't really have any expectations coming in, so, I can't say I was surprised either way, but, I'm thankful for my position, and, I've been really fortunate, so hopefully just keep riding this wave.
Well, Wendell Clark made the move from defense the forward. Worked pretty well for him, so we'll see how it works for Ian White. It has been good. He's Toronto's ultimate multitasker, and Joe, I would assume a man of many different looks in the first couple of months of this season.
He leads the league in facial hair and or different haircuts. I mean, before he got back into the lineup, he had this mohawk going, which we decided that wasn't the right thing to do. Got that shaved down, and now all of a sudden he's playing exceptionally well. And you know, the one thing about Ian White is this is a great opportunity, if for not here, but certainly for his career. He's showing that he can play both positions and play them very well. And while he got back into the lineup when he couldn't get in for the first 11 games, now all of a sudden the coach has got him playing not only right wing, but he's on the point, the power play. If things aren't going well in defense, he's back there playing defense. He's going to put the goaltending equipment on if he doesn't watch himself.
Well, I was going to say the great thing about coming back in the lineup as a forward is that there's no pressure on him. He didn't have to step in and perform well as a defenseman. Nobody's expecting anything out of a forward. Let's just put him out there, see what happens. So there was no pressure on him, and he's gone out and he's excelled under that position. And I remember talking to him prior to going back in the lineup, and I thought he was getting very, very frustrated, quite frankly. But he did a good job of working hard, maintained his cool, went back, said, I'm happy to be playing anywhere, and now we're seeing some great results from it.
Well, the greatest goaltender in the world right now is a Canadian. I'd have to be Roberto Luongo. The Leafs saw him on Saturday night. America's greatest goaltender, I would think, Tim Thomas. They'll see him here this evening, and hoping to stick a puck by him this evening is Alex Ponikarovsky, and he as well had a chance to speak with Andy after practice this morning.
Last game against Vancouver, you face a hot goaltender in Roberto Luongo. Tonight, there's a hot tandem in Tim Thomas and Manny Fernandez. What does it take to beat these goaltenders who don't really allow a lot of goals in?
Basically, what's going to take, it's a lot of effort, and plus we have to, get a lot of screening in front of him because he doesn't like that, and, every shot could go in.
There's the fine line, of course, of crashing the net and then not wanting to take goalie interference calls. How do you go about not crossing that line, getting in the goalie's face, but not taking the penalty?
Oh, basically, if you're going down the wing, if you cut it into the net, then you have a chance to get that call. But if you just stand in front of him, I don't think you're going to get anything, because otherwise the D will just push you in, and I don't think they're going to call anything on it. But it's not going to be an issue, I think.
Is it sometimes a strategy to knock the goalie off his game, maybe get in his face a little bit, rattle him when he is a goalie that stands so tall and doesn't let so much in, maybe play a little bit mental games with him?
No, every goalie doesn't like, traffic. So basically, you just piss him off by just standing there. So, but if you're just trying to get closer to him, they always get angry, and it takes them off their game.
So Luongo Saturday night, Thomas here tonight on Monday. Two different style goaltenders. Joe, is it about crowding these guys and trying to get some junk and garbage off these quality netminders?
Well, you can't let them see the puck clearly, and that's the trick. I mean, if you're going to shoot from an angle or shoot from outside and they're going to get a good look at it, the chances are they're going to do that. But the Leafs have been getting lots of shots, 34.3 as you see, and they have gone 14 games without being outshot in a hockey game. So their whole idea has been quantity, if not quality. And the more you get, the chances are you are going to get a shot that's going to go in off a skate or get a tip. And I really like the way they're going about it. They really don't have those two guys up front that you would say are real skilled players that are going to turn the game just because of what they can do. Instead, it's by committee, get as much pucks to the net as they can, and hope we can get lucky with a couple of bounces.
Never say die attitude. This has been a trend here for the Maple Leafs this season. Fall behind early, get back into the game, and make it interesting. Mark, not a great way to go through it the rest of the season, because the season can get exhausting rather quickly. Do you think the Leafs are better off just trying to get that lead and going from there?
Clearly they're better off. It's happened on the road trip. It happened in both games they lost. They were down, and it's exciting hockey. You got to love the resolve of this team to come back, continue fighting. And that's a lot of it to do with the young players that aren't comfortable and aren't in guaranteed positions. But quite frankly, they're not going to be able to come back all the time. They weren't able to come back in the two games they went down against Calgary and then in Vancouver. So you can't keep putting yourself in these positions. It's great to see the resilience, but you've got to find a way to go out and get the lead and maintain it.
Is it focus? I have no idea.
It is, but you know what? Last year they were unable to do this at all, it seemed. And at least they have shown that they can do it. But the whole idea is there. You cannot play this game from behind and expect to have great results. They've been fortunate thus far, but they have to change their modus operandi.
Well, the Leafs like to outshoot opponents and get those shots early. Hopefully they're going to go in. They have not been outshot by an opponent dating back to the Rangers October 17th. Lots to go in this show, Jody, but until then, we'll send it back to you.
Yes, we have a lot coming up.